All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for our entertainment news. And let's start off with this crazy one. This is another crazy one since we're doing craziness. Gideon Okeke issues public apology, alleges attempt on his life by Jim Iyke.
Ha.
Yeah, Nollywood actor Gideon Okeke has issued a public apology in the wake of his prolonged and bitter feud with fellow actor Jim Iyke, while also making startling claims about an alleged attempt on his life. In an emotional, charged video shared via Instagram, Gideon, in a solemn tone, apologized to his fans, colleagues, and family, and the entertainment industry at large for his recent outbursts and public confrontations. I want to apologize to anybody who cares remotely about me or my work, to my friends, fans, lovers of Gideon. If I still have any left, he began. The actor acknowledged that his behavior in recent days was totally way out of character, especially as his online tirades against Jim Iyke gained renewed attention following the release of Jim Iyke's film Sin on Prime Video. Despite the apology, Gideon stood by his position, referencing a deeply disturbing allegation, one that cast a far more serious shadow over the dispute. According to him, on January 18, 2024, Jim Iyke allegedly attempted to harm him with a firearm during an on-set altercation. He stated, and I quote, "Without being adamant, I respectfully maintain that an obituary wouldn't have been fair on me either if Jim Iyke had succeeded in using that gun he wanted to use on me on the 18th of January, end quote. While Gideon refrained from naming other individuals who were allegedly present during the incident, he lamented their continued silence and apparent indifference, as saying, and I quote, "Nobody would have been there to defend my cause because the people who were present till today have feigned ignorance. I'm not calling their names, but I felt, wow, this is the life," end quote. He further disclosed that the matter was reported to the Actors Guild of Nigeria, AGN, and that by September 26, 2025, it would mark a full year since he formally raised the complaint, suggesting that his concerns have been met with silence or inaction from senior members of the Guild. Despite the gravity of his claims, Gideon emphasized his weariness and intention to step away from the conflict, announcing a decision to cease and desist from further public commentary on the matter. He said, and I quote, I am sorry, but I will cease and desist from now. I am sorry, I mean it, pardon me, forgive me, point is made," end quote. This is the latest chapter in a long-standing, highly publicized conflict between the two Nollywood actors. The rift dates back several years, originating from a film set injury that Gideon alleged occurred during Jim Iyke's production. Wahala.
Why am I smelling publicity stunt?
For the movie?
For the movie. I mean, I didn't know anything about the movie until this drama came up. And we already have known Jim Iyke since Jim Iyke dropped, when Jim Iyke dropped...
there was that drama with Uche.
No, apart from even that one, when he did this one that people say different things online. That's the one he did with Uche, he slapped that... Yeah, that he slapped somebody. Yeah. I mean, there was that publicity stunt also.
Now that you're saying it.
Do you understand? I've always seen it as PR stunt, Sha. I don't know why. I mean, not saying that this kind of thing cannot happen.
But before this movie came out, Gideon Okeke had ranted initially, saying he had an altercation. I think he called Jim Iyke that time. He called the name, that it was on set and something happened. They almost killed him. Somebody wanted to take it. Yeah.
Now, why is it just coming out when this movie is out? Why is this just coming out
But if that happened really, will you now...
Okay, first of all, the problem is there is nobody that has come out to say they were witnesses.
And that's why Gideon Okeke is saying that those people that were there
If he was really serious about this allegation, I feel like he would call names. If your life is being threatened, somebody pulled out a firearm. If we are together here, OJ, and you pull out a firearm against me, I will mention names.
No, you're not good. They're alive to mention names.
OJ, what are you saying? Increase your voice. OJ, speak up. This is what I just said. Repeat yourself. Repeat yourself.
Leave me.
Let everybody hear this thing you are saying. But I mean, and you know this thing is even coming from, I think, was it last month, on Kate's birthday, that they still had their fights, they still had their, altercation, and I just feel like everything is just, coming up to publicity for a movie. That's my own opinion. That's what I think.
So, Gideon, what Olori is saying is, you've settled everything in a way, but if nobody says anything, just put up on that post and just say, dear so and so, you were there. Am I lying?
In God day, you were there.
I wasn't there. Okay. Just call out names so that so that people like this will not because I saw the post a long time ago. So him saying this, it's looking to me genuine, like okay, for real, something like that happened. But let's see how it goes. I mean, really, truly, Jim Iyke has a new movie out.
Yes.
And if Jim Iyke can do that with Uche Maduogu for that publicity.
Anyways, I mean, that's not about that one, Jim Iyke. I hope you guys settle it very soon. Moving on to the next gist, Made Kuti is in the news with Fela Kuti, and he sets the record straight on the Kuti legacy. Now, Afrobeat royalty Made Kuti, grandson of the legendary Fela Anikulapo Kuti, is setting the record straight on how his iconic grandfather was viewed during his lifetime, and it's not the praise-filled legacy we know today. In a recent interview, the Grammy-nominated artist opened up about the complicated perception of Fela in Nigeria back then. Now, according to Made, while Fela is now celebrated globally as a cultural icon, he did not always receive that kind of love at home, at least not during his lifetime. He said, and I quote, "If you look back, Fela was appreciated internationally more than locally," Made reviewed, adding that his family name once came with more stigma than status. He shared a personal memory of how his father, Femi Kuti, faced serious challenges just because he carried the Kuti name, even struggling with relationships, as many Nigerians saw the family as controversial. He said, "I remember my dad telling us how we could not even date, if you get girlfriend, because being a Kuti was seen as a red flag. People looked down on him thinking Fela was not financially successful," Made said. He pointed out how Fela's fearless activism and frequent clashes with the government led to arrests, constant harassment, and a powerful smear campaign that shaped public opinion for years. Now, the late music legend was often painted as a weed smoker, a womanizer, and someone to avoid, especially within Nigeria's middle class. Now, they really pushed a strong narrative that worked for a long time, he added. Made also shut down the idea that his father, Femi Kuti's success was simply handed to him because of Fela's legacy, saying, "People assume my father made it because of Fela, but it was actually in spite of him." At just 28, Made Kuti is carving out his own lane in the Afrobeat scene, preserving the power of his family's message, but also rewriting the narrative with bold truth and fresh sound. And as history continues to shift, one thing is clear: the Kuti legacy is louder, it is prouder, and it is more respected than ever before.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's just a perfect case of when they say a king is not respected in his own town. And you cannot blame people, because back in the day where people were supposed to be sane and well-mannered, then you had somebody that is this. So definitely people like that is so it's a perfect example of, this is a good example. Doctor, lawyer, this is
a bad example.
So you can't blame people. Yeah, outside the vibes, they could vibe, they could relate with most of the things that he was doing. But in Africa, in Nigeria, like, waiting be this is not our culture. This is not our culture. So I get that part where Made was talking about that. And yeah, it's the Kuti legacy. Yeah, you can say, oh, the father didn't play a role, blah, 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 blah. But
I don't, so I honestly, now, I'm a very big fan of Made. Yeah. I go for his shows a lot of times, and, I love his music. But I don't want to say his father did not, or his grandfather actually, did not play a big role in pushing him to where he is right now. Yeah. I mean, not him directly, but that name, Kuti. I just feel like that name, plus he has not really gone away from the style of songs, from the structure of Afrobeat. It's still the Afrobeat that Fela started, that Femi took on, that I think Made is also continuing. True. So I mean, it's still with that. And in addition to what you said, I feel like, that time when Fela was Fela, there was no social media that could, justify this. I mean, if I come out wearing a short skirt, people go like, "Oh, go girl, do your truth and everything." But then Fela was Fela when morals were still very high. And,
with women.
And he had so many women.
The vices.
Do you understand?
That's a perfect example of bad example.
Do you understand? You see this boy, this Olufela boy, don't go near him. He will corrupt you.
And it's even awkward where they said, for getting a female, getting a girlfriend. So you can't blame people.
I don't understand. Your grandfather had how many wives?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the entertainment news. We'll be back with our guests after this break, so don't go anywhere.